Tonight on EIV News at 9, a University of Massachusetts Medical Center doctor has been accused of taking photos of a woman on campus in a bathroom stall. And Joe Biden made a major announcement yesterday regarding running for president. Emily Grossberg will have that story coming up. And I'm Ellie Romano. We begin with tonight's top stories. Jonathan Legault of New Hampshire has turned himself into police after allegedly injuring his infant daughter. On October 10th, officers were called to Catholic Medical Center in Manchester to investigate mysterious injuries to the 3-month-old girl. She was then airlifted to Boston Medical Center for further care. Police say an investigation has been ongoing since then, and that Legault allegedly shook his daughter violently in the incident. This caused subdural hematoma and retinal hemorrhaging. Legault was arraigned Wednesday morning, and the girl is now with her mother, police say. Nicholas Johnson of Brockton was arrested Monday and charged with aggravated rape, enticement of a child under 16, and posing or exhibiting a child in the nude. He was charged with raping a 14-year-old girl that was a student at the Full House All-Star Cheer Gym in West Bridgewater. The girl allegedly told her friend about the encounter with her instructor at his apartment, and police were notified Monday. No other victims have come forward. Johnson was arraigned in Brockton District Court on Monday and is being held on $50,000 bail. A New Hampshire man has been arrested for firearms trafficking. 29-year-old John Miller was taken into police custody after an undercover investigation by the ATF led to the discovery of Miller's large collection of illegal shotguns, rifles, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Miller faces over 10 illegal weapons possession charges. According to police, Miller had a loaded handgun in the car during the time of arrest. Miller was arraigned in Tewksbury Court on Wednesday. A University of Massachusetts Medical Center doctor has been accused of taking photos of a woman on a campus bathroom stall. The incident reportedly occurred on September 1st when the woman saw a hand above her stall, followed by the sound of a click. She confronted the doctor, Marcus Cooper, who said he was offended by these accusations. Officials stated there were no such photos on Cooper's cell phone. However, they are continuing analysis to see if they have been deleted. Cooper is currently on administrative leave and is expected to be formally charged in court in December. The parents of Bella Bond appeared in court on Tuesday. The child formerly known as Baby Doe was found last June on the shores of Deer Island in Massachusetts. The toddler was identified by authorities after months of investigation. The victim's mother, Rochelle Bond, and her boyfriend, Michael McCarthy, were charged in September with involvement in her death. Both pleaded not guilty to charges of murder and accessory after the fact. Bond and McCarthy are due back in court later next month. A state probation officer for the Suffolk Superior Court pleaded guilty in court to lying to a public corruption investigation. Lawrence Plumer said that he lied when the FBI asked him if he was showing pornography on his cell phone to women he worked with. The case involved pornography and the mistreatment of 2 female probationers. There are also allegations that Plumer was giving special treatment to convicts who made deals with him. Plumer will face sentencing in January. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump have been stealing the headlines while running for president. However, they aren't the only candidates. EIV News' Jesse Sturge met with candidate Lindsey Graham, who is still trying to gain support.
Lindsey Graham is not giving up. Though the presidential candidate falls below 1% in polls, he said he plans to continue doing what he's doing to gain supporters.
I'm doing it the New Hampshire way. I'm meeting as many people as I can in small groups. The cumulative effect, I hope, will give me a shot.
The senator from South Carolina is doing just that. He held 9 events in one day, most of them being meet and greets with voters. I met up with him at his first event of the day, a meet and greet at Intellitech. This dairy-based company creates training systems to educate students on technology.
Our company is about social impact. We either change people's life by offering them opportunities in the labor market, or by bringing technology and engineering, enhancing progress, and helping the world move forward.
We wanted to know about his immigration policies as well, because the shortness in our labor supply, and we really feel that immigration is an important part of that policy.
Intellitech Vice President Elizabeth Klingseisen said she was satisfied with what Graham said he has done in South Carolina. She said today helped her decide for whom she will be voting come February.
We ultimately train students to work in manufacturing or STEM jobs, and Senator Graham really understands what's needed to bring in the industry side, but I wanted to ensure that he understood the elements of education behind it as well.
In order to make the next GOP debate, Senator Graham will need a national average of 3% at the polls.
The only thing I really care about is doing well in New Hampshire. A national poll captures celebrity and name ID. New Hampshire is about competency and character.
Senator Graham is currently polling at 0.4%. In Derry, New Hampshire, I'm Jesse Sturge, EIV News.
Continuing with presidential candidates, Joe Biden announced yesterday that he will not be entering the presidential race. Emily Grossberg joins us now with more.
That's right, Sean. It's official. Vice President Joe Biden will not run in the 2016 presidential race. After months of intense speculation, Biden made the surprise announcement in the White House Rose Garden yesterday afternoon.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
Biden's wife, Jill, and President Barack Obama were at Biden's side during the statement. The 72-year-old vice president also pointed to the death of his son, Beau, as a reason he will not make an attempt at the White House. In his speech, Biden defended President Obama's legacy and said he will not be silent during the presidential race. Now, on the other side of the aisle, Republicans are looking to elect a new Speaker of the House following the resignation of John Boehner last month. Wisconsin Representative Paul Ryan announced today that he will run for the position, although he originally resisted running and said he would only take the job if the entire GOP party supported him as a unity candidate, and he said he will not give up family time with his wife and kids. His conditions also include a rule change that would make it more difficult to overthrow a sitting speaker. Ryan is likely to be elected into the House sometime next week. And Hillary Clinton is still battling Republicans in Congress tonight as the first round of Benghazi hearings continue. The Democratic presidential candidate is being cross-examined by the House Select Committee about the deaths of 4 Americans in Benghazi, Libya in 2012. The hearing is the latest in the dramatic political saga where Republicans have been accused of creating the panel solely to attack Clinton. And tonight, Republicans are growing frustrated with her, with Clinton repeating that she is not to blame for the security lapses in the tragedy, causing both political parties to erupt in screaming matches. The investigation still has a long way to go, as it is expected to last into 2016. And finally, tonight, Donald Trump's GOP fight is getting more and more personal. And this time, Jeb Bush is fighting back. The Republican presidential candidate attacked Trump over his suggestion that his brother, George W. Bush, was responsible for the 9/11 attacks. In recent interviews, Bush questioned Trump's intellectuality and accused the businessman of not understanding complex world events. The Bush camp is excited to see their candidate responding with such force, as every Republican candidate is struggling to even come close to Trump's poll numbers. Many of Bush critics says he lacks enthusiasm and energy, and the most recent polls show him tied with Florida rival Marco Rubio at just 8%.
Emily, how is Hillary Clinton responding to the GOP's questions?
Well, it's been a tough night for Clinton as they're going into their 11th hour of these hearings. You know, she started off really calm and cool and collected at the beginning, but as they go on to these double-digit hours, she's getting more and more frustrated with the constant questioning and repetition within the questions. The most dramatic moment probably came when one of the representatives asked Clinton where her last point of contact with one of the Benghazi victims who was allegedly denied security on the night of the attacks, and she said that she couldn't recall the last time she spoke with him. So that was a pretty dramatic moment. But as of right now, she seems to be faring pretty well against her GOP attackers, and the Democratic side of Congress is really standing behind her.
All right. Thank you, Emily.
We're going to take a quick commercial break.
There have been major advances in the Iranian nuclear deal. There have been major advances in the Iranian nuclear deal. I'll be here to tell you more when we come back.
Welcome back to EIV News at 9. A Sudbury school is taking steps after finding a swastika drawn in a bathroom. Janitors found the hate symbol in a boys' restroom in Curtis Middle School last week. School administrators met with students on Monday to discuss the effects of hate symbols like the swastika. The school is also encouraging parents and guardians to talk to their children about the incident. School officials believe that no one was targeted by the vandalism.
Massachusetts education officials recently released the statewide scores from the PARCC exam last spring. The information comes as officials near a decision about whether it should replace the MCAS as the state's primary educational assessment. The PARCC exam has been on a trial run in Massachusetts for nearly 2 years. The Board of Elementary and Secondary Education is expected to vote in November on whether or not to replace the MCAS exam or either combine it with the PARCC.
Larry Chen has been reinstated as a teacher at Brookline Middle School. Last month, Chen lost his job after cursing in front of 2 students. He was placed on administrative leave, facing possible job termination after the incident. Parents and students rallied around Chen to save his job, even protesting at school committee meetings. He will return to his duties on Monday, November 2nd.
A former head of Disabled American Veterans Incorporated was found guilty of stealing $100,000 from the organization. An investigation into Richard Tott Sr. found that the money was diverted from accounts into another veterans organization in which he controlled from 2009 to 2013. Investigators say Trott used the funds for various personal purchases. He was put on trial last Monday and found guilty on 4 counts of larceny and will spend up to more than a year in prison.
Nantucket police have arrested a man believed to have sexually assaulted 2 women in separate cases. On Tuesday, David Matterson was charged with kidnapping and rape for a 2008 and 2014 incidents. Matterson, a Jamaican native who has been living in Nantucket since 2008 and is a suspect in several other cases. Officials believed he may be a legitimate threat to women in the community, and many are glad he is behind bars. Matterson is being held on a $1 million bail.
A new Massachusetts bill aims to protect animals in the Commonwealth. The bill is calling for the establishment of a registry of known animal abusers in Massachusetts, a system similar to that of sex offenders. Supporters of the bill say it will keep animals safe from those with history of animal abuse. Many pet shops and animal shelters are pushing for the registry to be established after the success of a similar program has been instated in Tennessee.
It was revealed yesterday that a major Iranian figure is in favor of the Iranian nuclear deal. Camilla Zagarzazu joins us now with the details.
Canada's new Prime Minister says he intends to keep his campaign promise to pull the country out of the U.S.-led bombing campaign against ISIS militants in Syria and Iraq. Justin Trudeau, who led the Liberal Party to a stunning victory earlier this week, said he's already told President Barack Obama of his plans. Trudeau is expected to take office in the coming weeks, replacing Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who sent Canadian warplanes to carry out airstrike missions against ISIS. Iran's most powerful figure has thrown his weight behind the nuclear deal signed with the U.S. and other world powers, and also accused President Barack Obama of threatening his country. According to a letter on his official website, the Supreme Leader ordered the nuclear deal to be implemented subject to certain conditions. The deal with the U.S., Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and China formally took effect earlier this week, although Iran must further restrict its nuclear program in order for economic sanctions to be dropped. The United Nations Cultural Heritage Agency adopted a resolution earlier this week that criticized Israel for mishandling heritage sites in Jerusalem. The resolution was approved in Paris by the 58-member Executive Board of UNESCO, which designates and attempts to protect cultural treasures around the world. The proposal regarding the Western Wall had emerged amid a deadly wave of violence between Israelis and Palestinians, partly incited over a dispute of a holy temple. Riot police officers and students protesting against tuition increases clashed outside a Parliament building in Cape Town, the latest in a series of student demonstrations that have gripped South Africa this year. Police officers fired stun grenades and tear gas as hundreds of university students tried to force their way into the building as the finance minister delivered a speech about the national budget. Television coverage of the protest showed officers holding shields, and some students were hurling water bottles at the police. Officers and students alike shoved one another in a tense standoff.
Camilla, if not by way of bombing, how does Canada intend to engage against ISIS?
Trudeau is expected to take office in the coming weeks, and he says that Canada will engage in a responsible way by providing humanitarian aid to Iraq and Syria instead of bombing.
Thank you, Camilla. We're going to take another quick break, but coming up, business correspondent Jack Schwartz will tell us all about Honda's announcement that will shake the rest of the automobile industry.
Welcome back to EIV News at 9. Thanks for staying with us.
Yahoo and Google have made a major partnership. Jack Schwartz joins us now to tell us more.
After releasing disappointing third-quarter earnings, Yahoo stock is down another 4%, adding to the 38% stock decrease they've seen since January. Despite these poor numbers, Yahoo chief executive Marissa Mayer remains hopeful given the company's new deal with Google, allowing Yahoo to use Google search results in their own search engine, on top of their existing search deal with Microsoft. In a post-earnings call, Mayer said, "We believe that by establishing partnerships with both leaders in the search space, we can achieve a competitive search dynamic that will provide a better experience for our users and advertisers and will improve our monetization. Only time will tell if this new deal helps Yahoo get back on their feet." Google has also reached a new deal with the world's largest pharmaceutical company, Novartis. The main focus of the partnership is to develop a new kind of contact lens. The lens will incorporate a sensor that will measure glucose levels, hopefully to aid diabetic patients, and allow the eye to autofocus like a camera in a millisecond, eliminating the need for multiple pairs of glasses and lenses for seeing both close up and at a distance. A settlement was reached this week in a lawsuit brought against Sony Pictures Entertainment by both current and former employees following the hack of the company's computers last year. Sony will pay employees up to $10,000 a person, capped at $2.5 million to reimburse workers for identity theft losses, up to $1,000 each, capped at $2 million for credit card fraud prevention services, and up to $3.5 million in legal fees with this settlement. And finally, there's exciting news coming out of Honda Motors this week. The company shared on Wednesday that they aim to sell a car with automated highway driving functions by the year 2020. Honda is the latest addition to the race for an automated car, as even tech companies like Google and Apple have been showing interest in the field. A spokesperson declined to give details about the vehicle's planned capabilities ahead of next week's Tokyo Motor Show, where other automakers are expected to show automated car prototypes to the public.
Now, with Sony reaching this settlement, can we finally expect to see them put this hack behind them?
Well, Sean, I'm sure Sony is certainly hopeful of that. Two of the big issues that may pose a threat to them right now are the issues of released screenplays and salaries. The James Bond film Spectre had its screenplay leaked, and it's been criticized for having a weak ending, which may hurt its box office earnings. And the pay gap between female and male co-stars was also revealed, which Jennifer Lawrence spoke about in her recent opinion piece. And Bradley Cooper, in response, has said he will always share his salary with his female co-stars from now on so that they can be able to negotiate a fair wage.
Right, thank you for the update, Jack. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey said that she will not try to shut down fantasy sports websites, including the Boston-based DraftKings. Healey has vowed to protect consumers who use the sites, making sure that they remain fair. There is no law in Massachusetts explicitly barring fantasy gaming sites, so Healey plans to focus on consumer protection. In her review of DraftKings and their competitors, she will work to ensure that they are being transparent and fair with their users. Representatives at DraftKings have said that Healey is taking a reasoned and measured approach to the situation.
State Representative Nick Collins has proposed a bill to protect police conduct records. The bill is part of an attempt to balance public rights to information and the importance of protecting ongoing investigations. Collins aims to keep investigations into conduct of an officer private until the process is complete. The bill is currently before the Judiciary Committee and is expected to go to the House floor for a vote sometime next year.
Two Boston chefs will make their television debut this December in the hit culinary competition show Top Chef. Opening the 13th season on September 2nd, the series will feature Karen Onowitz of Myers & Chang and Craig Dooley, formerly of Craigie on Maine. The duo will compete with chefs from across the country in the hopes of winning $125,000 from San Pellegrino, a feature in Food & Wine magazine, and a showcase at the annual Food & Wine Classic hosted in Aspen, Colorado.
Boston has a new king this Halloween, or as his Twitter handle says, a new pumpkin. The official pumpkin of Boston has arrived at the Boston Public Market Wednesday morning, weighing in at 1,020 pounds. One of the market's vendors, Red Apple Farm, partnered with Tom Brulette to grow the gargantuan gourd, and together they have donated it to the market and the city. Patrons of the market will have the opportunity to take pictures with the pumpkin as well as name it. Throughout the month, the Boston Public Market will host 12 other Halloween and fall-themed events, including movie screenings and a pumpkin carving event along the Rose Kennedy Greenway. Hopefully, the pumpkin is left unharmed.
Now, Ellie, I don't know about you, but baseball season is just one of my favorites. The playoffs have been so exciting. They've been absolutely incredible to watch. I don't know if you've been seeing these games, but especially last night, they were down to the wire. Two teams had an opportunity to punch their ticket to the World Series. Annie Carroll joins us now to see how those two games played out.
The Mets are headed to the World Series. The team completed a 4-game sweep of the Cubs with an 8-3 victory at Wrigley Field last night with yet another Daniel Murphy home run. This will be the first Mets World Series appearance since their loss to the Yankees in 2000. As for the American League, the Blue Jays met the Royals last night in Toronto. The Royals were coming off a huge victory in Game 4, but Marco Estrada and the Jays wouldn't go down without a fight. Let's go to Toronto now to see how the game played out. And we're getting started here with Chris Colabello hitting a solo shot. The Jays would go up 1-0. And up next, Troy Tulowitzki with a 3-run double. This would really seal it here for the Jays and widen their lead throughout the game. And in the end, Kansas City, Eric Hosmer would try to be the hero, but he would ground out, leaving the Royals stunned, and the Toronto Blue Jays would go on to win 7-1, the final. And Game 6 of that series will take place tomorrow in Kansas City. Former University of Louisville basketball players have confirmed that a staffer paid exotic dancers to strip and have sex with recruits and their guardians. The accused is former assistant coach Andre McGee. In a book written by former escort Katina Powell, details emerged that nearly 24 parties inside Louisville dorm rooms. One player said McGee even provided him with $1 bills to tip the dancers. McGee has declined to comment, and the NCAA and Louisville are investigating the allegations. Milwaukee center John Henson said that he was racially profiled outside a Wisconsin jewelry store this week. Henson, who is black, posted on his Instagram that workers at the store locked the door and told him he had to leave, and then was questioned by police about what he wanted to purchase. The owner of the store released a statement saying that what happened was a misunderstanding and apologized personally to Henson. Another great rivalry for the Patriots this Sunday as they take on the New York Jets. Their offense will be put to the test as the Jets have the strongest defense in the league, right now allowing an average of just 15 points per game. The Jets are 4-1 this season, the best start they've had in a long time. The Jets also have a dependable weapon in safety Darrelle Revis. This will be the first time that Revis has returned to New England since playing in a Patriots uniform. And he's having a big year, so it's really important that Tom Brady is conscious of where he is throwing his passes. And that's all for sports. Ellie and Sean, back to you.
Thanks, Andy. Now, you talked a lot about Darrelle Revis. If you were head coach Bill Belichick for the Patriots, would you try to stick more with the run game this week?
I would think that if I was Bill Belichick, I would really just make it a balanced play. I think LeGarrette Blount and Dion Lewis are having great running seasons so far. Lewis has been a great pickup for the Patriots this season. And with weapons like Gronkowski and Edelman down the field, I mean, I don't think anyone could stop them, even if it is their former teammate Darrelle Revis. But it's going to be a great game.
Well, let's hope that we can push back the really strong Jets team.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the updates, Annie. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, but when we come back, Carly Wickham will join us for a full weather forecast.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us.
Sean, it almost felt like summer today with those high temperatures. Our weather correspondent Carly Wickham joins us now to tell us if we'll see more of these warm days or if it's going to start to feel like fall.
Well, we did see some surprisingly warm weather today, but I'm sure nobody was complaining. We all left our jackets behind as the high reached 72 degrees today, and tonight it will get slightly chillier, but we shouldn't be feeling anything lower than 50 degrees. Perfect weather for a night on the town, if you ask me. Friday, we are going to be seeing another full day of sunshine. The highs will be around 50 degrees, so a little chillier than what we saw today, but still extremely pleasant. There isn't supposed to be any chance of precipitation tomorrow, so it'll be a great day for a pumpkin picking outing, if you ask me. On Saturday, we're going to be seeing more mild weather with a high of 54 degrees, but lows in the morning and evening heading down into the 40s. We shouldn't be seeing any rain that day either. On Sunday, however, we won't be as lucky. It's expected to be a pretty humid day with a 60% chance of showers all day. Winds are expected to be around 12 miles per hour, and the lows will again be heading down into the 40s. As for the 5-day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is heading back to the mild weather that we all know and love. We'll be seeing highs in the mid-50s for all 3 days, but be careful if you have an early class on Monday morning. The temperature is predicted to be 39 degrees that morning in the early hours of the day. Wednesday, we're also going to be seeing some more clouds in the sky, and on Thursday and Friday, get ready for even more clouds and some more rain. So for the most part, we'll be seeing those mild temperatures in the upcoming week. That's all I have, so let's send it back to the desk.
Carly, today might have been so warm, but there was some random rain throughout the day. I came outside my apartment, had my umbrella, and I just did not know what to expect.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise too, and we will be seeing that a little bit this weekend, but for the most part, you should be seeing sunny skies. So.
No, I personally am just really looking forward to those real fall temperatures that we're going to see. It's cross-country season for me. Apple picking is coming up.
Yep.
That means apple crisp if I head home.
Yes, I will definitely be taking part in some pumpkin picking. Thanks, Carly. So that's all we have for you tonight. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.